Hello, my name is Jose Garces, and I will be covering the events surrounding the new air pollution policy enacted in Guatemala. This event delves into subjects including the damages of air pollution to local environments, behaviors that contribute to air pollution, and obstacles of air quality control policy. Following the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies on September 7th of this year, Guatemala introduced its first form of regulation on quality standards and comprehensive air quality management as a collaborative effort with the United Nations Environment Program. These policies outlined a roadmap for development and review of regulations, such as the establishment of air quality standards, a monitoring network, the development of emission inventories, and other elements to help curb air pollution. While these actions are recent, the underlying problem has been going on for a long time. The reason why the Guatemalan government felt pressured enough to make a change now is because of the dangerous trends observed in air quality metrics. Specifically, these pieces of data were mentioned often by UN representative during the talks, with the nation's particulate matter 2.5 value being 6 times the recommended quality guideline according to the World Health Organization. Additionally, Guatemala ranks 46 out of 138 countries in terms of air quality, which has only been getting worse as they industrialize further. Why do these metrics matter? The UN Environment Program officials say it does because air pollution is the greatest environmental health risk of our time, with it killing an estimated 8 million people annually. Looking specifically at Guatemala, an estimated 29% of deaths from stroke and ischemic heart disease are caused by air pollution. On top of this, the close ties of air pollution to climate change through the emission of greenhouse gases elucidates how impactful this type of pollution can be if not combated by efforts like these new developments. This clear, imminent threat that these effects represent altogether pose a question on why something wasn't done sooner about this. The answer to this is that an obstacle to environmental regulation policy, such as the ones in the Guatemalan parliament, is having to balance the interests of the short-term economy, industry, and culture with proper sustainability. Shown here are just a few of the prominent practices that promote air pollution in the country. Firstly, transportation has had a poor track record in terms of enacting proper emission standards, proper import restrictions, placing tax regulations that promote more eco-friendly cars, and managing the ever-increasing vehicle ownership rate. These all result in high levels of vehicle pollutant emissions. On top of that, industries such as petroleum, metal, and general chemicals, among others, all have the potential to impact air quality. This is not legislated against because 24% of the country's GDP is controlled by these corporations, which gives them great power in terms of lobbying against regulatory policy and leveraging the economy against parliament. In addition, another example of an obstacle comes in the form of many widespread cultural habits that promote air pollution. Two such habits are the commonplace burning of both agricultural and solid waste, along with the majority use of solid fuel resources that emit pollutants. These types of habits are difficult to push back against because of the cost and difficulty of establishing proper infrastructure and education systems to streamline these processes into a more sustainable state. The reason why I mention all these obstacles is because these same issues were in the way of the recent legislation. They were able to push back in part because of the help of foreign organizations like the aforementioned UN Environment Program that pressured Parliament to finally make a move. This, however, will still be an uphill battle, since one cannot expect the actions outlined in the roadmap to be executed without constant pressure against these obstacles. When looking at what's next for air quality regulations in Guatemala, the Guatemalan Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources will continue to enhance the draft regulations while developing complementary regulations to support the imprinting of these structural changes. Already, they have committed to installing 7 air quality monitoring stations, which will allow them to more precisely measure air pollution levels, which might influence how they approach proper sustainable measures, opening the door for even more forms of regulation in the future. Thank you.